Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I do appreciate you checking this out, and if you are a current subscriber and you keep returning to watch my videos, I really do appreciate that as well. Today is the day that I've dreaded for quite some time, because this is my least favorite of the Star Wars Skywalker saga, but I figure we're leading up to May the 4th, and I thought, let's start reviewing these films. So, what's a better place to start than from the beginning of the story? Alright, so this is a Steelbook film review and also a Star Wars film review. Today I am reviewing the film Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Here is the Steelbook. This is the back cover. I actually like it quite a bit. The color is kind of a little too orangey for me, but it's still nice artwork. And this is the front. Here's the inside. It has one Blu-ray. Now, I noticed today, when I took the Blu-ray out, it's numbered. I don't know why. It probably decreases the value of this, but I don't really care because I'm probably never going to get rid of it. And the disc is there anyway. So, it's a nice steelbook. Actually, the Star Wars part right here is actually embossed. So that's kind of cool as well. Alright, now that that part's over, let us get into the actual review for this movie. Now, I decided I'm not going to go into these movies super deeply. I just am going to talk about what I like and what I dislike. Most people who are watching these reviews at this point, you've probably seen these movies, so no need to really get into the plot either. Alright, so let's start with the things I did like. Yes, this is my least favorite of the Skywalker saga. I can't say it's my least favorite Star Wars movie because I have not seen Solo in its entirety, but the Skywalker saga of the 9 films, yes, it is my least favorite. But, that being said, I watched it today, and it's not as bad as I remember it being. If you look at it as a whole and watch it as part of a giant entirety of what is happening in the Star Wars universe and what sparked the whole Empire and Emperor Palpatine. If you take this movie and look at it, it's a great beginning film because it sets all the events moving forward. It sets all that up. This movie is very political, which usually I don't like, but like I said, if you're viewing the Star Wars thing as a whole and not just action films, this movie really isn't that bad. It kind of feels like a novel. Not as much action, more story. The CGI is actually not terrible. This movie was filmed in 1998 or 1999, I believe. There are some scenes where it stands out pretty bad, but for the most part, it's actually pretty good. I don't know if part of that's the Blu-ray release I have, but still, it's not bad. It's not glaringly, like, in your face awful. I'm not gonna diss this movie for that. The story is pretty good. The pacing really isn't that terrible either. There's a few great action scenes, and of course, the scene at the end with Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi facing off against Darth Maul is iconic. It's so well done, and John Williams' score during that whole duel is great. It's fantastic. Darth Maul is so underused in this film. I thought he could have been a great character. I guess in some of the shows, he does come back somehow, and his character is interesting. So I just wish we could have seen that in the films. I wish he wasn't killed off so early. He's a great bad guy. He looks scary. He can fight cool. He's got a double-bladed lightsaber, which at the time of when this film came out was unheard of. He kills a Jedi Master. I mean, he's pretty badass. So I did like that. Some of the space battle scenes are actually pretty cool as well. Now let's get into the things I didn't like. Can I just state the obvious that I do not like Jar Jar Binks? I think I'm with about 90% of the Star Wars fandom when I say I do not like him. I do not like him here or there. I do not like him anywhere. That's a Green Eggs and Ham reference. Um, but seriously, I cannot stand him. He made a film that was rather serious in tone. He made it extremely cheesy at times. I read somewhere that George Lucas did that on purpose, created this character because he wanted this character to add some humor for the children in the audience, which I understand what he was going for, but I still think it was a terrible decision because I really don't know of anybody, either as a kid or as an adult, who liked Jar Jar Binks. Jar Jar Binks is hate-worthy and cringe-worthy. Stop the Jar Jar. Stop the Binks. It sounds so weird. Whatever. Yeah, so moving on. Again, it's very political and very dialogue heavy, but yet at the same time, the dialogue isn't super heavy. It's hard to explain. It's not like you're gonna be watching 12 Angry Men. Like, it's not that kind of dialogue, but the movie is more dialogue centered compared to action. So it's just hard to like a movie like that when you consider it to be Star Wars. So that's, that's a negative as well. That's part of the film that I don't overly enjoy unless I'm in the right mood. There's nothing else about this film that I can say I didn't like other than in a few spots some of the acting from some of the actors and actresses is a little bad. I don't know if it's because they were young or the script and the directing just wasn't on par with most movies. It leaves a little to be desired, I guess, in that case. For personal enjoyment, like I said, this is my least favorite, so on a scale of 1 to 10, 5 being like, my rating system is kind of weird. The way I rate things is like 1 through 10, 5 being the middle ground. So anything past 5 is like good, and anything under 5 is bad. So if I say a movie's like a 2 out of 10, that's like really, really, really bad. If I say it's a 5 out of 10, that means I don't really care for it. So for this movie, my personal rating for this movie out of enjoyment factor, I would probably give it like a 5, or maybe even a 4. It's just not my favorite. Like I said, it's my least favorite. Out of filmmaking standpoint, for its time, I'd probably give it a 6 or a 7. This movie was super hyped when it came out. People, hadn't seen a Star Wars movie since the 80s. So, I'll give it that. For rewatchability, for me, I find this movie really hard to rewatch. Unless I'm doing something where I'm like gonna watch all the Star Wars movies in order. This is a movie I will skip, and I can go 5 years without watching this movie, and I'm totally fine. The rewatchability factor is pretty low. I'd probably give it like a 3. Coincidentally, as much as I dislike this movie, it does have 2 of my favorite lightsaber hilts in it. Obi-Wan's, which I had a plastic one of these as a kid, and it was like one of my favorite toys as a 10 to 14-year-old because I always wanted one. I begged my dad to let me get one. They finally gave in. I spent my own money. It was like $8, and I bought it, and I still have it somewhere. So I do have like a personal attachment to it. A year or two ago, I actually bought a realistic one that lights up. It's on the wall behind me right here. I'm not going to get it down. I'm going to save that for my next review. But Qui-Gon's hilt I like as well. I just wish the pommel was different because his is just flat. So, I actually do have his hilt as well. And I took the hilt off the Obi-Wan Kenobi one behind me. And you can screw it on and off. And I actually put it on this, and I think it looks way cooler. So, yeah, this is pretty cool. Alright, that about wraps up my review. Sorry it's been so long. I guess I got into this way more than I should have. What are your thoughts on The Phantom Menace? Is it your least favorite Star Wars film? Leave your comments below. I would be very interested in reading them. Like this video and subscribe if you would, if you haven't already. I would much appreciate it, and it does help me kind of get out there a little bit more, and it kind of breaks the YouTube algorithm a bit. If you would subscribe or at least like my video, I would much appreciate it. Thanks for watching. My name is Aaron, and may the force be with you. I'm trying to like salute without cutting my head off with this, so I was gonna do the Dune salute, you know, where you hit your chest and then go like this, but I just hit myself in the face, so maybe I should do the... Thanks for watching. Goodbye.